What's up, YouTube? Jaden back with another video, and today I become bearing a new series. Hear me out. Okay, so what this new series is going to be about is paranormal entities, which I will have a lot of experience with. We all have experiences with these things. Well, I'm not sure if it's we all, and if you don't, you're lucky, but no, where I grew up is very prevalent. Let's just say that. So, without further ado, like, subscribe, comment, and let's get into the video. So today, the one we're covering in specific is one called the Peeker. Now, what the Peeker is, okay, and some of you might have had an experience with this. Now, what the Peeker is, and some of you might have had an experience with this, is something that essentially peeks around corners. But what makes it terrifying is the fact that it's literally like, let's say you're home alone. Just imagine you're home alone and you see something just peeking around the corner, like hands on the edge of the corner, and they face just like, I'm gonna put it up on the screen. Y'all probably gonna see some videos and stuff. Actually, Future Me played a video.
Peeper.
Yeah, so you guys can obviously tell how that's pretty terrifying. Okay. And what's crazy about it, that's a real phenomenon. Like it's a real thing. And I'm finna tell some stories about it today, and I'm finna get into what it essentially is. So what a peeker is, once again, it can be spotted in some homes, and it's usually like a telltale hotspot for paranormal activity. Actually, it's some stories. Let me get into a story about one of these things. So essentially, this girl, she was 15. She had a lot of experience babysitting. So, she's at this house, she's babysitting, and the parents told her the kid has an overactive imagination. And I'm gonna play the video after this. Or I might play this, or I might play it during but the point is, essentially, she was warned the kid sees things. Okay. So look, she's just with the kid, right? She's, she gets there, the kid's in the living room watching his little movie. She's in the kitchen just fixing him some food for to feed him. The kid runs into the kitchen, cleans on her leg. Oh, I'm so scared. So he's basically telling him like, he's scared, and it's a monster. She goes, she looks, it's nothing. She just thinks because he's been having nightmares for over a month now. Says the parents that he's just seeing things. Okay, so she thinks like, okay, nah, this is fine. It's nothing, you know. And essentially, she just goes to shower after she gets that result. She goes to shower. She's in the shower and she feels like something is watching her to the point where she keeps peeking in and out of the shower. Okay, it gets crazier. The kid runs into the bathroom again, scared, saying, "Yo, it's gonna get me. Please, like, just help me." She tells the kid to face away from the bathroom door so he doesn't like really see her drawing off, and she's like, "Okay, this is gonna be good." She calms him down again. It comes time for the kid to sleep, so she puts him to bed. She goes to the room that she was assigned, and she's just relaxing in there. She's trying to go to sleep. She eventually dozes off, and the kid busts in the room. Oh, it's gonna get me. Please don't make me go back in there. So the kid just clings to her. Like after she like, okay, come on. The kid just like wraps around her, like has a real tight grip around her, like he's actually scared. She's just thinking like, yo, he's really scared, and he's essentially telling her like, it's just something just gonna get me. She's gonna get me. He's just scared, and all of a sudden he stops talking, and it registers to her that he's staring at the door. She looks at the door. She sees something like peeking around, like the lightning strikes, and she sees something like that, like with the hugest smile on its face ever. Like it's just smiling. Now it's raining, it's thunder and the lightning, and each time the lightning strikes, it gets closer and closer. Like it's smiling wider and wider. Like it starts from here, lightning strikes again here, and now it's just moving closer and closer and closer. And now it's just at the foot of the bed, and it's kind of like peeking over the bed. Like that's why they call it the peeker. It's a real thing, and that's why, like that's exactly what they call it, the peeker. It peeks at you. It. I'm not really sure. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure it's harmless. It's just really scary to experience in real life. Cause just imagine seeing that. Some of y'all might have seen it, but still, essentially, it's called the peeker for a reason. So, she's looking at it and she's actually scared. Like the kid is really scared and shaking. And so she's just Like, she remembers the father told her about, him keeping a gun on the headboard or in a compartment. And so she's like just feeling around while keeping her eyes on it. She eventually feels it and she says, "If you come any closer, I'm blowing your head off." It ran away. Apparently you were smart. But the point is, these things actually exist and they're terrifying. I'm gonna play the full story for y'all. Future me, pen a story.
One of the scariest things that ever happened to me while babysitting, story time. Now, I was 15, I've been babysitting for a few years at this point, so I had a lot of experience with kids. They love me. Well, a family friend asked if I would go babysit their 7-year-old son for a couple of days while they went out of town to Myrtle Beach, so I said sure, that was great money for me. So the parents put their bags in the car, they showed me where everything is. Now, his mom made it clear to me that he has a very active imagination and that because his daddy let him watch horror movies the week prior, he's been having nightmares and making things up, saying that he's been seeing stuff around the house that's not there. So they get their stuff in the car, they give their son a kiss, and they leave. So I'm flipping through all the satellite channels, checking out different shows, eating popcorn, little boy's playing with his toys, drinking his little juicy juice, and we're just having a good time. So I go in the kitchen to put a frozen pizza in the oven, and all of a sudden, this little boy comes flying out the living room, running up to me, and then wraps around my leg, just looking in the living room and then looking at me, back and forth. I said, "Damn, son, are you okay? What happened?" He said, "She's in there, she's in there." I said, "Who's in there?" He said, "Her," but I didn't see nothing. And before I can push him any further, he walks over and sits in front of the TV and starts ignoring me. We're sitting on the couch watching TV, and their couch was in the middle of the room, so you could walk around it. Well, this little boy starts looking behind the couch and then back at the TV. So I start looking back behind us. It's like a natural reaction when you see somebody else doing that, you start doing it. The more he did this, the more I felt like somebody was standing behind us, but I don't see anything. So I get up and walk across the room, and from there I can see the hallway, and for a second, something stood out to me. At the end of the hallway, it looked like someone was peeking around the corner like this. But when I cut the light on, it was gone, so I thought my mom was playing tricks on me. My anxiety's peaking, so I'm like, okay, it's the first time you've been left alone in someone else's house. Calm down, go take a shower and go to bed. But while I'm taking a shower, I get the weirdest feeling like somebody's standing outside of the shower curtain. Now, they had a big-ass bathroom, so I was like, dude, it's a new place, it's a big bathroom, you're not used to this. Just stop freaking out. But I have to keep sticking my head out the shower curtain to make sure nobody's there because I'm getting that vibe like somebody is there. So I peek out the shower again and bam, this kid is standing in the doorway crying. I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "It's gonna get me. It's in there. I just saw it. Can I stay here with you? I'm scared." I said, "Yes, stay right there. Just turn the other way." And then I dry off and get dressed in the shower so he can't see me. Now it's about 11 o'clock at this point and he's still wide awake. So we sit there and talk for a little while. We play with Legos, Play-Doh. I'm just trying to wear him out so he'll go to sleep. Well, finally around 2 a.m., he falls asleep. Now, it was already so late, I didn't have time to unpack my clothes, so I just get in the bed and I go to sleep. About 10 minutes later, I hear this youngin' screaming again. Before I can even get out the bed, I hear him thunk, 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 and he's already running into my room, jumps into bed with me. He's screaming to the top of his lungs, "She's there in my room, behind the door. She's gonna get me if I'm alone. Please don't make me go back in there." So we're laying there in the bed together, and he says, "I know you think I'm making stuff up. I promise you I'm not. She was there. I saw her." I said, "Honey, I believe you. It's okay. Just relax and close your eyes and start taking some deep breaths." This child has one hell of a grip on me. Like, he's wrapped around me like a python, so I could tell he was really scared. Like, he really thought something was going to snatch his ass off that bed. So I just held him and hoped that maybe he would calm down. Now, I know a lot of you would just tell these kids to hush and go to bed, but I'm not like that. I went through the same thing as a child. I would see things that were not there, and nobody else believed me. So I wanted him to know that I believed him and I was protecting him. So I reach over to the nightstand and I tapped that old school touch lamp 3 times and put it on the brightest setting so it lit up the room. That way we would feel more safer and we'd get some sleep. Then I start hearing some distant thunder, and then it starts pouring rain. I think, oh, well, that sounds relaxing. So because of that storm, my ass knocked out. I was doing some good sleeping until about 30-40 minutes later. That was when I abruptly woke up to the bed shaking. It felt like a small tremor, like a little earthquake. So I'm trying to get my eyes adjusted and wake up and figure out, why is the bed shaking? Apparently the storm knocked the power out because it was pitch black dark in that room, and the only time I could see anything was when the lightning struck. Well, once my head gets adjusted, I start hearing a noise, like chattering of teeth. I'm laying there trying to figure out what the hell is that noise and what is shaking the bed. And that's when I look over and I see the little boy is sitting up on the other side of the bed with his hands holding the cover. And it's him shaking the bed. He's shaking that hard. And that chattering sound I heard was coming from his teeth. He was sitting here holding the covers with his eyes wide open and going, "God, are you okay?" Because I thought he was having a seizure. But when I looked at him, his eyes darted over to mine and I realized he was awake. He was so scared. Like, he couldn't move. He was frozen, shaking and chattering. I'm like, well, if he's not having a seizure, what is wrong with him? And that's when it clicks. He's sitting here staring at the door, so I look at the door. Y'all, let me tell you, in that moment, when that lightning flashed, I damn near shit my pants. It scared me so bad. Have you ever been so scared that your hands and arms and legs start tingling, they damn near go numb? When I looked at that bedroom door, there was someone's head peeking around the door like this, and you could only see their eyes. And when the lightning stopped flashing, I couldn't see anything anymore. It was complete darkness. That was when it really hit me. Holy crap, we're not alone. There's someone else in the house, and they're standing right there. But what really freaked me out was every time the lightning would strike, I could see more of that person's face. Like it started like this, and then this, and this, and then I could see their actual mouth. This person was smiling ear to ear. I could barely take a breath in. All I could think was, what the hell is that thing? Then of course the lightning stopped flashing, so for a few seconds it was completely dark, and I had that feeling again like someone was watching us and getting closer and closer, and I was starting to panic. And when lightning struck a few seconds later, I could tell they were getting closer because now this motherfucker, person, thing, or whatever, was now at the foot of the bed, peeking over like this, staring at us. At this point, my damn teeth were chattering. All I could hear was between the both of us. So I pulled that little boy up on my lap in my arms as tight as I could because I didn't want whatever it was to try to snatch him out of my arms, and I held him real tight. So now when the lightning flashed, we could see its whole face peeking over the bed, smiling, looking right at us. So that was when fight or flight kicked in for me, and I remember the dad telling me that he'd put a loaded pistol in the nightstand and behind the headboard of this bed, so I start reaching around for it. And for some reason, my gut was telling me, you better keep your eyes on this thing. Every time the lightning strikes, pinpoint where it is with your eyes and don't take your eyes off or it's gonna jump. Reaching, trying to multitask, keep my eyes on it, hold the little boy, and feel around for this pew-pew, and I finally feel it, and I snatch it out of that holster and I hold it up. When the lightning struck, I pointed at this thing. I said, if you take another step, I'm gonna blow you into the next room. Get out and leave now. In that moment, something happened. I don't know what it was, but I could feel me looking into it and it looking into me, and that lightning flashed, and then all of a sudden the power cut back on. And no lie, as soon as the power came on, it was gone. I snatched him up out of the bed, grabbed that pew-pew, and ran to the kitchen and called 911. I stayed on the phone with them, the police came, and then I called the parents. I put the cop on the phone, they're talking, and then they tell the cop that they're not coming back until Sunday. Even though we're telling them we think there's an intruder in the house and their child's here, they don't give a shit. They're not coming home. They think it's our imagination playing tricks on us because the power went out and we're getting freaked out with the storm and everything. So I made it very clear I was not staying in their house another minute, and I was going to take their child back to my family's house, and that's where we would be. And they said, okay, fine, we'll see you on Sunday. So I asked the little boy if that was the first time he saw this thing, and he said no. He'd been seeing it for months, but this was the first time it got that close. Now I knew he'd have to go back to that house, so the next day me and my cousin went over and cleansed the entire house, hoping it would help.
Now look, guys, I have another story about Mary. I'm joking. But on a serious note, to give you guys an example, or to give you guys kind of like a visual or a point of view, I want you guys to put yourself in the shoes of this man. You know, just try to put yourself in his shoes, okay? So imagine you had a marriage, okay? 6 years, normal, and all of a sudden your wife starts peeking at you. You know, you shrug it off because she's joking. And, you know, she just keeps doing it, and it gets weirder and weirder. She's peeking at you from under tables. Actually, put a visual up so they can really see. Okay. She's peeking at you from under tables. She's peeking at you from around corners. You know, it's just very creepy, and, you know, you're thinking nothing of it. But eventually it just gets more aggressive. Like, she's just constantly peeking at you and you're uncomfortable. Okay. The first instance, okay, this man was in the shower. He's washing his hair. He's shampooing it. And what would make this a lot scarier for a lot of you is I know for a fact y'all be getting the soap in y'all eye and they be burning. And you already can't keep them open. If you don't know what I'm talking about, and you don't know, but you struggling to keep them open. And then you just see somebody peeking at you. Oh my God. That's horrifying. Okay, so on a serious note, he's shampooing his hair. He looks over, sees his wife peeking at him, like, y'all know the little clear part of he's washing his hair, and she's peeking at him through the clear part of the shower curtain. Like, her face is pressed up against it, and he sees that she's just drenched and wet in water, and, you know, he's just like, oh, what are you doing? And, you know, she apparently just scurries off like she does. Like, that's another thing. He'd just be chilling. She comes peeking at him. He notices, and she scurries backwards, like on her hands and feet. Like, it's just, like, but yeah, like, just imagine that. Like, you're washing your hair, look to the side, you see your wife peeking at you through the clear part of the shower curtain. So he sees this and he's like, what are you doing? And she just scurries off. Once again, she closes the door. Okay. And so he opens his shower curtain up, starts drying off, after he finishes showering. He hears like excited breathing. Like, you ever just get really excited, like your paycheck ever just hit and you just like real excited to just, either save it or spend it. I know we got a lot of, y'all know what I'm talking about. We just really excited, like, yeah, oh my God. Like, so he just hears excited breathing, like somebody's just thrilled. He's like, oh, I know she on the other side of this door, but I don't really want to peek. Feel me? Like, he knows if he peeks under, she's just gonna be right back at him, so he don't really want to do it. He notices that the sounds like it's coming from inside of the bathroom. So he's just looking around, while drying himself off, and he just sees the cabinet, opens it. What, bro? She's inside of the cabinet. He is terrified at this point. He's like, what are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing? He is already getting woken up to her peeking, down at him while he's sleeping. So he's obviously very scared by this point. So, she scurries off again. He's just drawn off. So, like, obviously how any human would, he would be incredibly scared by the fact that his wife was peeking at him to that extent. So he ran out. He was in his boxers. Okay. He ran out the house, grabbed his car keys, and sped off to his brother's house. And what makes this whole thing even crazier is she never even used to be like this. She would get scared watching The Shining. She wasn't even the childish type. She was normally really serious, and now she's playfully peeking at him. Very strange. Very. So what scared him the most was the fact that, like, how suddenly it just started. Like, going to work, you grabbing your car keys, you see a wife peeking at you. That's horrifying. It's scary is scary. Scary is scary. I ain't gonna lie. So, him just seeing her peeking and then running away, he couldn't take it. So he grabbed the keys, he ran out of his house to go to his brother's house, and he's explaining, like, yo, and they think he's just overreacting. He wasn't overreacting. So essentially, he's just staying there. He already had like a little bit of clothes there, so he get dressed, he just laying down, he relaxing. He about to go to sleep. He dozing off until he hears excited breathing. Like, he looks over to the window and he sees his wife pressed up against it. Like, just slobbing all over the window, just like, I'm trying to be serious. But it's like, it sounds so crazy, but it's true. Like, his wife is just, imagine seeing, seriously though, he's just, like, he screams and he just runs out the room. And it's terrifying him. How does she even know where he went? So basically, after a few days of staying there, he just realized, like, yo, I need some more clothes and I need to break this off. So, he divorces her. He's going to get like the last of his belongings. And so, as he's trying to open the closet to finish packing up, he's picking up a pile of clothes and he sees an animal eye, a small animal's eyes, which means it would have had to been killed, so that's already creeping him out enough. He moves the clothes more, just thinking, he's just scared, so he's just trying to get it over with. He's moving the clothes more, he's just packing it up, and he sees more eyes. The more he moves the clothes, the more clothes he takes, the more eyes he sees. And then he hears that breathing again. His wife is under the bed. Now look, he's thinking at this point, this is my wife. Well, not my wife. This is, a woman I consider my wife. She needs help. And as he's reaching out, he gets stabbed in the hand with a glass shard. He runs out of there. Now, eventually, he doesn't really know what happened to her after that because he just stayed away from her. But apparently, she was admitted to a mental hospital and she's done. And they don't really know what's wrong with her. They don't know why she started acting the way she did. It just happened suddenly. So this is y'all sign to be careful. If y'all husbands, wives doing any of that, break it off. I ain't gonna lie. Now, all jokes aside, stay safe. If you guys enjoyed the videos in the Entity Index Volume 1, please smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, comment down what entities y'all would like to see me do next, because I'm gonna do a lot, and it's something that I'm gonna do that y'all are probably gonna know too, because really common. So smash that like button. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, comment, stay safe, and stay tuned for the next video.